I'll go now to Mr. Drennan. Rick Drennan, your question, sir.
Thanks, Michael. Being a bit of a student of history and politics and also comedy, especially Comedy Central, one of my favorite moments in politics was when Clint Eastwood at the Republican convention talked to an empty chair who was supposed to be Barack Obama. Well, I'm going to direct my question to the empty table where the Conservatives are supposed to be sitting. Few, if any, parties have been reelected during a recession or an economic downturn. Is the low tax policy of the Conservatives enough to help us through the recession and beyond? And why is your party's plan better than the others for igniting the Canadian economy? Let's throw that at the NDP, I guess, instead.
So we'll go to the NDP to respond, please. Thank you, Rick.
Is this the 2 minutes?
Yes, it is a 2 minute. You'll have a 2 minute for it.
I'll take it. So we've seen clearly that the Conservative plan isn't working. Over the Harper decade, for the last 10 years, we've seen 400,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs leave Canada. We've seen the worst job growth record since the Second World War. We've also, at this moment, we're in not our first, but our second recession. And that's all due to the Harper policies, which has brought Canada into this point. So what we're proposing is let's diversify our economy. Let's remove all of our attention, not all of it, but let's remove our attention from fossil fuels, and let's diversify our economy so that we're reviving our manufacturing sector as well as supporting our small businesses. And the way we're going to do that is that we're going to provide tax incentive breaks to the manufacturing sector so that if they invest in plants, if they invest in factories, if they invest in jobs here, you will get a tax break. Unlike the Liberals and Conservatives who like to give blank checks to corporations and are scared to ask corporations to pay their fair share, we will start doing that. And when we do that, what's going to happen is it's going to bring jobs back. It's going to help, and the second part of our plan is to help small businesses. Like I said before, the small business creates 78% of jobs. We want to propose reducing their tax by 20% from 11 to 9%. So the mom and pop shops that we see in corner stores, in plazas, around Brampton, get a break and they could help kickstart our economy.
Harbaljit Kalam, thank you very much. Rebuttal from the Greens. Saul Butcher, please.
Thanks. So you mentioned low taxes in your question, and you asked if the low tax plan is working. Clearly, after 2 recessions, I would say it's not. One of the issues we have to look at is the corporate tax rate. Currently, the corporate tax rate in Canada is 15%, which is the lowest in the industrialized world. The Green Party is proposing to raise it to 19%. One of the problems with having a low corporate tax rate is you end up with what's called cash hoarding, which is where corporations just keep a whole bunch of money in their accounts because they're not being taxed, instead of reinvesting it. So the moment you raise that rate, you give them an incentive to get that money out and get it working, because money that sits still does nothing.
So, and the final rebuttal will go to the Liberals, Raj Grewal.
The most remarkable thing is that we all know that the last 10 years of the Harper decade isn't working. But the NDP's plan is the Harper plan. They will not raise taxes on top 1% of Canadians, and they keep on giving tax breaks to millionaires. The only party that has a plan to kickstart our economy. Let it be known, we are in a recession. The first 3 months, it was 0.8% negative decline. The second 3 months was 0.5%. So we've had 2 terms of consecutive negative growth. The most interesting part of that is our neighbors to the south, the United States, in the first 6 months have grown their economy by 4%. So what's going on in Canada? Right now, we need infrastructure spending, and we need to run modest deficits to ensure that we kickstart our economy, to ensure that people go back to work. We fix an aging infrastructure. We ensure that there's affordable housing and that every Canadian has an opportunity to make it.
Thank you, sir.